5, once you find your soulmate, they will be perfect. They will be absolutely perfect. There's going to be no issues with your soulmate. Now, seeking perfection is, wallahi, a big problem. And I've narrowed it down to 2 big issues with seeking perfection, or looking for that perfect person, that soulmate or whatever. Number 1 is that that person doesn't exist, as we said. There's no one who is perfect. So a brother or sister may spend their whole life trying to find that perfect person. And wallahi, you may think I'm exaggerating, but once again, I've seen this happen. That what's stopping a certain brother from getting married? This dude's like 35, getting on to 40, right? He's got a job, he can provide for his family, all that kind of stuff, but he's not married yet. Why? His mom brings him a new girl every weekend, right? Check her out. What do you think about her? He's like, yeah, I don't know. There's a couple issues here and there. Let's see what else you got, right? And this has started when the guy was like 25. 10 years later, he's still going through sisters, right? Every day, someone else is like, yeah, I don't know if this person. You're never going to find that person. There's no single person out there who is perfect. It's something I believe I mentioned in my earlier talk as well. No matter how big of a scholar someone is, no matter how big of an imam they are, no matter how popular they think they are, there's no individual on the face of the earth today who is perfect, who doesn't make mistakes, who doesn't have certain shortcomings, who doesn't have certain issues, right? So you're not going to find that person. Number 2, the other problem with looking for perfection is that if you marry someone on the assumption that they are perfect, that they are your soulmate, then you're going to be let down very quickly, right? In a short period of time, you're going to find out that they have issues and they have mistakes. And I get it. We live in a culture where we're told, like you watch TV and you watch movies and things like that. You watch The Notebook, for example, and you're like, oh my God, Ryan Gosling is like perfect in this movie, right? Like I want that. Like so, sister may be watching The Notebook and she tells herself, she says, that is the type of guy that I want for myself, right? I want my Ryan Gosling, except, and this is one of the things I often say, I want my Ryan Gosling, except I want him wearing a thobe and I want him with a beard, right? That's the difference. That's the difference between that Ryan Gosling and my Ryan Gosling. This person doesn't exist, and you're going to have issues if you marry someone with the assumption that they are perfect. Even, like I said, I get it, we live in a culture, even subhanAllah, and this is an issue which I was debating whether to bring up here or not, but I think this is an issue which is common now, even in the Islamic circles, even in like the way da'wah the da'wah scene is right now. A lot of young people look up to speakers and scholars and people who are well known, and they just assume that this person, because they're on stage, because they're giving a talk, because they have knowledge and that they are perfect, that they have no issues. And that is, na'am? Don't blow our cover. He said, don't blow our cover. I'm about to blow your cover really hard right now, Sheikh Armand. I'll share a story with you. I'll share a story with you, okay? This is a story that happened with a close friend of mine. I actually shared the story in my class as well, so if you've taken my class, you've heard this story before. A close friend of mine who's a well-known speaker, and I'm not going to say his name, but if I said his name, I would imagine that almost everyone in this room would know who this person is. This brother, may Allah protect him, he was the imam of a community for a long time. So he'd get a lot of phone calls. People would call him with issues and this and that. So one day he gets a phone call, and it's his sister. And it wasn't odd because, like I said, he's the imam. People call him with their problems and all that. So he gets a call, and he picks up the phone, and it's his sister. She says, Assalamu alaikum. He says, Wa alaikum assalam. And she goes, Sheikh, I'm in love with you. And this brother, mashallah, one of the things I say about him is this guy's a boss, right? He's a boss. So you know what he says to her? He goes, sister, you're not in love with me. You're in love with your perception of me. You're in love with who you think I am. He says, if you only could talk to my wife, she would tell you. I'm not done with the story yet. He said, if you could only speak to my wife, she would tell you how I make her cry every single day, right? And he slammed the phone, right? So we assume that because people may be good looking or whatever, like Sheikh Omar Suleiman, obviously, right? And they're a public speaker.
hates you so much right now. My wife is here, dude. You don't let me kill it. All right, we can go on now. That's something you would do.
Anyway, the point is perfection doesn't exist, right? Even in people who look amazing, and they may be very amazing people, like I know Sheikh Omar Suleiman. All jokes aside, all jokes aside, I love him for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, moving on. What point was that? Number 5, 4, 6? 6. I promise I'm almost done. I know I'm like 5 minutes over my time. Do you guys allow me to?
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim siratal ladhina an'amta 'alayhim